This podcast is brought to you by Guiding Growing Minds, a social enterprise that aims to give all children the best opportunity to reach their potential and succeed in living rich and meaningful lives.
Dr. Billy Garvey, we have just finished recording episode 129, Chaos and Control, Part 2. What are people going to learn this week?
Yeah, some great shorts, I thought. Some really amazing short questions there. Beautiful longs as always. But we had a lot of fun in the first half of it. Then pretty emotional towards the end.
Yeah, so, second half really sort of upped on the feels. A lot of really good practical tips in those shorts. I mean, I love the shorts. I love the longs, but I really do love the shorts when we sort of rip into them. And the polls as well. Interesting reveals on the polls, let me tell you. Well worth focusing on. I think the people have really spoken on this one, Billy. So I think you'll enjoy that one. But guys, we really hope you enjoy the episode and looking forward to hearing feedback on it.
Hi, I'm Billy, a developmental paediatrician.
And I'm Nick, a developing parent.
We're going to use scenes from iconic movies to talk about how we best support our kids.
This is Pop Culture Parenting.
Hey, don't let your mother smell that beer on your breath. She'll take it out on me.
I don't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. I don't want to see anybody else either.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Just use your best judgment. We trust you.
Good morning, Dr. Billy Garvey. How are you?
Good, Dr. Nick. Good. Had a 6 a.m. pickup from
Yes.
above the kebab shop.
Yeah, you were feeding the pigeons, I saw. You were surrounded. There was pigeons everywhere when I picked you up.
Yes, I'm staying in the inner gritty north above a kebab shop.
Yep.
So just
Humble beginnings.
Even
5 years in. It's incredible.
Humble forever.
Just he promised me so much.
Yeah, people will laugh at the Adelaide show. We were like 30 minutes out of town. Yeah, granny flash.
It was great. Closely bonded. It was nice.
But eventually we'll get to the bit where we're staying in a hotel.
It'd be nice. Although I did love the change room, the green room we were in.
You did.
My dressing room.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah, Adelaide was amazing.
We couldn't stop taking photos of ourselves. I was like, is this what good lighting does?
Hopefully,
Or soft lighting.
Hopefully, there's some soft, good lighting on me right now. Did a talk down in beautiful Geelong last night.
G-Town.
Yeah, G-Town.
Nice.
Educators and other professionals in the afternoon, and then
Awesome.
Caregivers and parents in the evening. It was amazing with the beautiful Rebecca Harris, and it was part of our Impact series. So thank you to the YMCA, to the Greater City of Geelong, and Melly, another org that does amazing stuff in this space, who all supported us coming down there.
Awesome.
So yeah.
I want to come along and watch one.
Yeah, have you seen? You've only ever seen me do one talk, haven't you? Remember I dragged you
At
along
least
to-
one.
yeah,
At least one.
Years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen you talk a lot. Sitting opposite you.
Yeah, it's one of those things you want more of, isn't it?
Yeah, if I only find the time.
Pretty busy for the next.
What day? No.
Yeah, you tell me when you're doing the talk first, and I'll tell you if I'm free. You go first.
Need to speak about the
You
Impact
tell me when
series.
you're free.
I need to speak about the Impact series.
Okay.
I have a potential candidate that
beautiful.
submitted. So but I'll bring that up off air potentially.
Yeah, amazing. Well, mate, you should come as often and get heckled. Where's Dr. Nick?
I don't think you would. I think you've made that up right there.
No, I
haven't you?
promise. Promise that's happened to me at conferences. I reckon twice. So, yeah.
Anyway.
And well, speaking of which, it often makes me want to walk off stage and pack it all in.
Why?
Just go back to my singing career.
What? No. Please no. I mean,
one of these poll questions almost did the same.
yeah, it's going to hurt this one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a narrow victory.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
should we get into the polls?
Yeah, let's do the polls.
Okay. So, we'll just go straight into the polls. So, this is our part 2 episode, which you would have heard at the top of the pod, for Chaos and Control. So these questions are about that, and they are on our Instagram. So if you follow us on Instagram, you can contribute to the polls, and you can contribute to this long list of questions that we have here as well that we could read out.
Yes.
Just sort of shout that out, pop culture parenting.
Did you like my my first one? Because obviously listening to it, you can't see which images I used. It was the famous Keanu looking back. And so I was like, looking back, I was like, God, I'm just, I don't know.
You're a wordsmith. Is there anything you can't do? You have so much range.
I know. Wow. Thank you.
I know. You do. Should we stop and pause and just... We've had so much fun recently, haven't we, you and I?
Yeah.
It's been so good.
Yeah,
Adelaide was incredible.
It was beautiful.
It was amazing.
Probably not incredible when we got home just for 2 and you had to get up at what time?
Yeah, it was good. You gave me 3.5 hours for it to be on my flight. Thanks for getting in so early. Lovely.
Oh, mate, I ran through the airport.
Running? What? You got to sleep until midday? What were you running?
No, on the flight there because I snuck onto
you did. You snuck onto my plane. I don't know how you managed that.
Yeah. Pretty much landed as yours was taking off.
Yeah.
And I did the Tom Cruise through the airport.
Yeah. was Secret Garden
The
playing?
cruise missile. Just flying.
Anyway, hey, oh my God, people are going to skip this. Let's get into this.
Yeah, give me the pulse.
Poll questions and results. Looking back, how was your childhood in terms of control and chaos? 29% of people said too much chaos. 38% of people said too much control. 33% of people said the balance was right. I'm in that latter third.
Really?
Yeah.
I always forget, is that the last one?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Anyway,
mate,
is that it? Latter.
Yeah, my schooling coming through again.
I'm in the 33%, so I'm in that middle wedge of, balance.
It was balanced, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty balanced.
Yeah.
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 You?
Chaos, mate. Chaos. Yeah. Crucible of chaos.
Crucible of chaos.
Yeah. Which we'll get into, explains a lot. But yeah,
Does that number sound about right to you from...
It's quite funny. For the first, I reckon, 2,000 people that answered it, it was in thirds.
Yeah.
So, but then probably all the people that are quite balanced, started coming in when they'd sorted out their life and put their kids to bed and everything, and then they came in and said, "No, it's actually I'm nailing it." Okay. So no, that was the childhood. Actually.
This is childhood.
So, sorry. So yes, my answer's the same.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, and then now, in your own journey, are you balancing chaos and control? And pretty much it's a third split the whole way. So 33% said too much chaos, 35% too much control, and the balance is right at 32%. So everyone a foot in each camp evenly,
Are
really.
you the latter again, as in the last one?
I am the latter. I try to control things, let me tell you. That's probably why I end up in chaos. I don't know, is there something to that, Billy? Yeah, I'm not in chaos, that's for sure. I do try to control things a lot and get stressed when it doesn't go to some stupid plan in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, balance. Somewhere between balance and control, I reckon.
Yeah. I'm
You?
too much control.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
Yeah.
You probably, we'll unpack that a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Looking
it's
forward
nice
to
to
it.
see thousands of other people that are the same as me.
Oh, tell you what some people didn't agree with, Billy. Okay. Who would be best recast to play Bodhi? 49% said Billy. 51% said Dr. Nick.
It hurt. I got to be honest. It hurt. Yeah. It hurt. Almost signed up a few more Instagram accounts when I was doing the math on it.
You would have had to have beaten mine. How many votes on that one, you reckon?
It was a few thousand. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty narrow.
Yeah. But still you. Still you.
I think maybe you.
Oh, really? You put me?
Yeah, because I like the
jawline.
control. So I am a bit more Utah, where you might be a little bit more Bodhi.
Yeah.
But I've worked pretty hard to cultivate some sort of a surfing image which has dwindled and burnt up very quickly in the last 7 or 8 years.
I still see it, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Stop. No, I know this story. We're not doing
I wasn't going to speak about
You always do that
I
story.
wasn't going to speak about that.
Okay. Shall we move on to the shorts?
Yeah, shorts. I've put a few. There's 5 longs, but I will probably be long there. But I'll try and be tight on the shorts.
No, I like tight shorts.
So is there? Yeah, tight shorts. I love tight shorts.
Hey, Billy, do you want to crack on?
Yeah, go.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You ready?
Give it to me.
Okay. Shorts, first one. How do you find the balance when you were brought up in chaos and now seek control?
Yeah, so very quickly, because we'll unpack this a bit more and some beautiful longs that came through, you can't just be like, oh, I need to do that. You've got to like reflect on that experience and like think about it and be like, why was it like that? What was the impact it had on me? You know, that's kind of really important work that I've had to do as well, like about, you know, where is that coming from? But I still really struggle with it. We'll talk about it a bit more, but you can't just be like, oh, cool, I've got too much control because of the chaos. I need to stop doing that. Like, I think that's skipping over the whole, like, all of the evidence and research we have around, you know, developmental psychology and the impact that our childhood experiences have on our adult functioning and all that stuff. So, yeah, there's a lot that you can do, which we'll get into more, but the first step that's really important is you need to reflect on that experience and what it was like. And it's really interesting. Rebecca Harris and I were talking last night about the beautiful Dan Siegel, and what he talks about is, in your story, it's not what happens to you and what happened to you that has a big impact on your adult mental health. It's how you make sense of it. And is it a cohesive story? Does it make sense to you, your story? Like, you have a narrative about your childhood. I have a narrative about mine. And it's not, my childhood was great, and you just make up a story about like it was perfect and I loved it and it was great. It's just making sense of it. And it can be like,
Okay.
my parents were struggling. It was really hard for them. They weren't able to be their best because of things that were outside of their control. And that had an impact on me and my blueprint for relationships and my self-esteem, and I'm working on it. That's making sense of that story. Or I had a lot of chaos and I understand why that chaos was there, but I also know that it had an impact on me and I didn't deserve that as a little kid. And now I have to be gentle on myself in doing the work about why that control and rigidity is there, trying to protect me and keep me safe. So they're making sense of it.
That makes sense. Relate to some of that. That makes sense.
But I mean, I do a lot of that. We know a lot of the PCP community, a lot of the work that happens in clinic when we're supporting the kids that come in that are struggling is the parents actually start reflecting and going, yeah, childhood was pretty wild. Like, and you see that in the poll questions. Thousands of people are like, there's too much chaos, and thousands of people where there's too much control. There wasn't enough flexibility. Things were too rigid. You know, there wasn't enough playfulness. There wasn't enough, like, let's just see what happens. And I think it's interesting to think about, you know, those parents that were doing that with those kids probably thought they were setting everything up really well. They were like, predictability, it's going to be safe. And then those adults are reflecting back and saying there was too much control. You know, so they're very different things, chaos and control. They both can have dysfunctional impacts on our daily lives and our long-term development. But it is an interesting thing, us as parents, and thinking about, why am I putting this control in? Is there too much chaos? And we'll unpack it in hopefully a helpful way.
Yeah, totally. Hey, Billy, how do you find the balance when one parent allows and wants chaos and the other needs control? Is like, when that question, is that sort of saying someone wants chaos or allows it? Is that like free range, free play sort of thing? Is that what they kind of mean? Or
I think that's probably, what that short means.
is that what that look? Yeah, is that what that means?
And it's just a difference in our preference as parents. And I guess, like, we've spoken about this a bit over the years, but how would you approach that if you were like one of those parents down that, say you probably fit easier into the control stuff?
Yeah. I probably wouldn't do this actually, but now that I'm sitting here in the quiet of a studio, would you, I'm assuming for the parent who wants control, things maybe not going as well as they hope or like, and they might go, hey, how do you think we're going? Do you like this level of chaos?
Yeah, great.
Do you think the kids are doing well in it?
Yeah.
What do you reckon? I'm just trying, do you reckon it could actually be better or easier? Is that what you'd say?
Beautiful.
I wouldn't do any of that. I would just flex more control until it hit a crescendo. I'm serious. Like, I wouldn't go, oh, wow, I'd be like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing, because going to someone who's, you know, if you've got a healthy relationship with another person that you're parenting with and saying like, hey, how do you think things are going? Like, we seem really rigid, or things are pretty chaotic and it's pretty wild and we're all pretty dysregulated. I know that we really like having a lot of fun and adventure and like just seeing where things take us. But I think it's impacting you or me or our kids or something like that. What do you think? and kind of having those open conversations and just putting your perspective out there, not saying this is a fact, and just like bringing the person in as a partner to try and think about this, reflect on it. Like we've spoken about it so much over the years, but one of the best bits of evidence around parenting is reflective practice. And it's just like, what's this experience like? And I don't think any of us do it enough. You know, it's funny, I remember the Barefoot Investor had this thing about like, you know, just sit down once a month or something with a glass of wine and look at your finances. And we were like, sweet, we'll start doing that. I think we did it once. But it is an interesting thing of we should protect time to, if we are lucky enough to be parenting with someone else, to say like, hey, how's this going? You know, because I don't know about you, like those conversations are always quite heated for me with Annalise, and they're always like on the fly, and it's always when things are really
It's always when things are, you never like, hey, things are going really well. Do you want to have a chat?
Totally. I mean, I would argue that can be helpful, but it's probably less helpful than things aren't going well. Let's have a safe chat where we've got some protected time that's like really starts with compassion and is like, you're doing amazing. Like, I'm so lucky to have you as a partner and kids, but I'm worried that things should be better than they are right now. And I think, you know, that's the challenge. There's a social clip that's been getting a lot of heat where I'm like, it's not normal that a kid struggles in school.
Yeah.
And I think...
Tell me that.
Well, yeah, there's just this clip that's had a lot of likes, I've got to remind myself, but it's also got some people being like, it's because I think it's just been, I still can't understand it, but people are interpreting it as like, I think that I'm saying something's wrong with the kid. But my argument is that like, we shouldn't accept kids struggling in school. It's just like, there's going to be a certain group of kids that just school's not for them. I'm like, we shouldn't accept that system then. We should be like, no, change the system. And I think so many of us are just like, oh yeah, parenting is chaos. Like it is just awful. That's just what it is. And I don't accept that. But I don't accept that as like an attack on parents that are experiencing that. I accept that as a responsibility the entire community has to come around everyone that's a part of it and say, hey, you look like things are pretty chaotic. How can I help? You know, we just don't do that enough, do we? Like it's the beautiful question that came right at the end of that we did an educator session and then we did the caregiver session, and the last question that was asked was this dad, and he's like, we're doing pretty well. What can I do to support my broader community? And I was just like, how goes that?
Yeah.
How cool's this at the end of
What'd you say?
I said, look around and just be a part, connect with people. Think about the families that are really struggling and how do you connect with them and how do you support them? You know, that's what I said. I was like, you know, we should all be going into schools and being like, how can I strengthen this community? Speaking to the leadership team, the individual educators, getting to know them, actually caring about them. Because you build the capacity of like the tough conversations and the safety in that relationship in times of calm, don't you? Not in chaos. And just going in and saying, how can I help? But how cool is this? At the end of the educator session, I was like, you know, clinicians need to be involved in schools. It can't be like these cut copy programs. Like, you know, it needs to be actual clinicians with expertise that are in there when you're talking about 20% of kids in clinical range. And also they should be the ones that are identifying kids earlier. They understand all the prevention evidence. And at the end of the session, I was talking to these amazing heads of wellbeing, and this psych walked over and he's like, I'm one of the local psychs. I want to come work with you guys. We want to come into your school and do stuff. I was like, how cool is that? Just like in real time, that collaboration happening.
What you need.
Yeah. So yeah, I've kind of riffed off that question a little bit, but I think it is important to understand that having those conversations as caregivers is really important, but also as, you know, educators, and saying, hey, this school environment's pretty chaotic at the moment, or we've got too much rigidity here and we're trying to control everyone. And that's where it can be really unhealthy to be like, I'm actually doing it because I want control over this environment in an unhealthy way that's limiting the kids and limiting our educators. We need to be a bit more flexible.
Okay. Billy, how does impaired executive functioning impact the balance between chaos and control? What's impaired executive functioning?
So executive functioning sits within our prefrontal cortex, high functioning part of our brain. That is what is impaired in attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD. Think about it as three things: impulse control, working memory, cognitive flexibility. Those are the three like pillars of that. And it impacts your ability in chaos and control.
How?
So ADHD and executive functioning more broadly is not really an emotional aspect of our functioning. It's a higher cognitive, so you have to be calm for it to work, for it to be able to access it. But what happens is that your experience has like a lightning fast reaction to a behaviour. So, for example, that can look like just calling out in classroom or, being angry and just acting on that impulse straight away. You just fire to action very quickly. And the challenge of that is that it's much harder for a child to rein that in if they have challenges in executive functioning. It's much harder for them to learn that skill set of being able to just evaluate something. Like we'll talk about some of the strategies that are helpful in this space, but one of them is just being able to take a beat before you react to something. And that's quite challenging for someone who has impairments in executive functioning. A lot of people sent in questions, and there's one that will go into it in more detail, but someone was like, is there ever any chance that my home that's full of people with ADHD is ever going to have any control? And I'd say yes, but you just need to be kinder to yourself about getting there, because like we've talked about in the Finding Nemo apps, like ADHD has this beautiful capacity to see things that we can't, to be really creative, to think about things differently. But that reactivity is a really big challenge of it, like how quickly we act on something. And also the problem with like control and working memory is the ability to hold a couple of bits of information in your head for a short period, like the steps of a process. The easiest one to explain is like get your stuff to school and see you in the car, and the kid's like hopeless at it. And it's like actually to succeed at that, you probably need more specific instruction that has less steps. Grab your bag, go to the fridge, throw your lunchbox in there and the water bottle. That's an easier thing for the kid. If the kid's like stuffing up, get your stuff for school and get in the car, you just break it down more simpler steps, increase the support required, and as they succeed, back off. Then that chaos is more likely if you're not dropping it down to that and you just yell at the kid because you're like, why haven't you got your stuff? I've asked you so many times. It's not about asking more times. It's about saying, how do I make this simpler for you to succeed at it? Yeah.
But I do that last bit regularly. Not the bit where you
really
said.
Nailing it.
No, the bit before, the second last, not the latter, the second last bit.
You graduated.
I've asked you 4 times. This is the consequence. I told you this. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, saying things more frequently or louder or with more emotion, even when it works, that's not the way you want the kid to, like that's compliance. That's using control in an unhealthy way. Whereas if you think about like, actually I should shift something because this isn't working in a healthy way, and often it's just drop the expectation and be more explicit and specific.
Okay. Billy, is control possible in a house full of people with ADHD?
Yeah, so yes.
Kind of talk to it.
Yeah. Definitely. Like I think it's really important to accept that isn't, to realise that not something you just accept and be like, life's always going to be like this. And there's I say that meeting some of like, and you're going to hear this like, there's no reflections at the start of this because I know that I'm not going to be able to hold together emotionally, so I put it at the end. But there's people that are holding so much more stuff, and it's not about them trying harder. It's about those of us that can help, giving more help and giving more support. But they shouldn't just accept this is always going to be awful and hard and chaotic. And kind of where that comes from and why that's happening is not a parental capacity thing. It's a need for support and dropping demands.
Okay. Billy, how to embrace chaos when it feels unsafe for you as an adult? So if you're all the way over in the control, how do you turn it over a little bit into... So
say we're using you here, where you're like, I want everything to go to plan. It's really about what are the safest relationships and the safe environments for you when you're calm to explore a little bit more flexibility in that shift towards uncertainty. And so little things like that, just being like, I always need to know exactly what we're going to do tomorrow, but how about just for the morning, let's just see how the kids are in the morning and have a go at it. And it's not about if I really struggle with it too much and it causes me distress and we have a big blow up, that you go, I was failed. You go, that was just too much of a stretch.
Can I be really honest about one? For me to be something like, it could almost, it's going to sound terrible, like it'll have to just be me, my partner and the kids. Doing it in front of other people, some part of me would find it difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because it's not the safest environment, the safest relationships.
Yeah.
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 But it's funny, even
some relationships I'd probably be all right with, I guess, but most I'd be like, not that I'm trying to keep up appearances, not that I'm being performative, it's just that like, I don't know, maybe I do worry about people's judgment or something. I don't know what it is.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're social beings and it's a little bit the same. Is there's this uncertainty around relationships. Like I've got that deeply, mate. Like I want to control my relationships because there's too much risk in them. So that's why I can't be more flexible in relationships. Yeah. But I mean, we almost have this playfulness that plays it out beautifully before the pod, because I'm like trying to be silly and I'm singing songs and all that stuff, and you're like trying to control me, but in a healthy, playful way. You know what I mean? And so,
I don't really care about any of that stuff.
Totally.
I do that for fun.
But it's a good example of we have this healthy bouncing back between me wanting to be a bit chaotic and be a bit silly and make you laugh, and you're like, mate, we've been here for an hour. I can't hear you. I can't listen to you sing Bon Jovi or Madonna for any longer. Let's start the pod.
So let me join in.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? Like but that playfulness can be often the safest place to start moving away from that rigidity and saying, like, normally I really need the morning to go like this. I need it to be exact. I need it to be like, get dressed, have your breakfast, pack your lunchbox, brush your teeth, look at the time. We're going to be late and all that stuff. And just being like, hey, let's just check out this morning and be like, I'm going to sit down with you and actually just check in with you while having breakfast instead of running around with my hair on fire. Lunch is not going to be perfect. It's not going to be this nutritious 5-meal thing.
Can you explain to me why I seem to care? It's like only in the presence of kids in a way. Like, sorry, let me go back. If I can't remember when it last happened. Well, not while it was me, but I can't remember it. Like where it's just me and Henrietta and we're away. I don't need to know about if I wake up, I don't need to know where my breakfast is coming from or my lunch booking is or be somewhere at a certain time. I couldn't care less. Why do I care so much and I need my kids to have that?
Because when you're just with Henrietta, it's much safer.
Right.
There's way less risk.
Right.
Because you're like, we're two adults.
Yeah.
Can't find food ever as sharp. We'll eat something out of the vending machine.
Exactly.
If we have too many drinks, don't get enough
bottle
sleep.
shop's open.
We find the next day will be a bit rough. Yeah, exactly. Whereas you don't feel as safe with the girls because you're like,
I need, if they
the
don't
consequence
eat,
might be worse.
I just think about it so much. Like if they don't eat, everything's stuffed. If they don't get enough sleep, everything's stuffed.
Yeah. So, we talk about that, don't we, where you're like, I have to get them home by this certain time, otherwise we're stuffed.
Otherwise tomorrow's stuffed.
But then it's funny, isn't it? Because some of the best moments that we've had together with both of our families have been when we've just stayed back at your house, had an extra 2 glasses of wine, the kids have played up beyond bedtime. But but you know what I mean? Like, and it's funny, isn't it? Because you could just always play it by the book, but there's a balance, isn't there? That's the whole thing, is there's a balance of like, you can't do that every night because you'll all be exhausted and all that stuff. But like think about the Adelaide show. That was more chaotic than we normally do it, wasn't it?
Yeah,
we got a pub lunch. Like I had a beer before we went out on stage. Like we were just in this zone because we weren't as rigid as we might have been.
Yep.
But we were just stitching each other up. It started the moment we woke up.
Yep.
We were giving each other a hard time, having heaps of fun with it. And then it was this beautiful experience in the evening, just like, as you said, one of the best nights we've had.
Yep, easily.
And so there is some importance about being a bit more flexible. It's interesting, like I promised I'll stop doing this with the shorts, but I remember sitting on a train. I used to work in a really rough part of Melbourne, both times actually. Worked at, years and years ago, I worked at the Safe Injecting Facility as doing developmental pediatrics in that space with a lot of really, families having a tough time. But before that, I was in a different place, which people won't know, but out west of Melbourne. And I used to catch a train there because it was too far to ride a bike. And I catch a train. And I remember there used to be this dad, and I judged him the first time I saw him, if I'm honest. This dad with his son taking him to school on the train. Yeah. And he used to have one of those big party bags of chips. And he would, like 20 packet or whatever it is. And he'd ask him to pick 2 for lunch every day. And I got the sense there wasn't much else for lunch. And I was like, mate, you can't just have 2 bags of party chips for like lunch every day. But as I was like frequently on the train with him, what I realised was he was just like he spent the whole train ride just connecting with the kid, talking to him, having fun with him, like getting down to his level. Really rough, like clothes are torn, dirty and like all of that stuff. But I was like, superficially I looked and I was like, that's chaos. Like that's just processed food but he was really connecting with that kid, and that's actually what matters more than the like
Why does that matter more?
chaos and control. Because that kid will remember those train rides and how much his dad lent in.
And he'll go to his dad
and it will
when
protect
times
all
are
the
tough.
adversity that they're facing. And I'm sure they lived in chaos. Like I've gone and done home visits in those homes. It's like terrifying what those places are like and the adversity that a lot of families are facing and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was just a beautiful memory that just came to me thinking about that, of like that guy's morning routine is wild from our perspective, of like he's just on a train cracking open a 20 pack of chips and being like this. But he's probably connecting more with that boy than I am with my kids before I leave for work in the morning. So it's easy for me to judge and be like, he doesn't have the control that we do.
Yeah.
But he's got this beautiful connection piece in it. And that's what actually matters. That's what the kid will remember, is how he felt, not like how perfect the morning routine was.
Okay. Billy, how to help a child autistic with PDA release their needs for control over their siblings. I'm going to read it again. Billy, how to help a child autistic with PDA release their needs for control over their siblings?
Yeah. So 3 things, 2 things within PDA. Superficially pathological demand avoidance, or a kind of thing that I prefer, which is persistent demand for autonomy. And that need for autonomy can be addressed in 2 ways. Superficially by introducing choice and thinking about, I'm not going to be controlling and say this is exactly how to do something. I'm going to give autonomy at a certain level that's safe. So say we can choose this or this. Like, which way do you want to do this? And I need your help. Let's figure out how we're going to do this, as opposed to do this right now. Often those kids just don't feel safe when that happens, because the control is keeping them safe within PDA. And then the deeper thing is like, how do you address that underlying feeling of insecurity and lack of safety that exists around uncertainty, which is like at the core of PDA, and addressing that and that need that's in a kid, and thinking about it feels hostile to you to not be certain and not to be 100% in control of everything. How do we gently unpack where that's coming from, and that sense of failure and that sense of risk and adversity that is on the other side if you can't see what's between you and that wall? Does that make sense? So thinking about spaces being safe, relationships being safe, but making sure that predictability is not holding a kid back. So the classic example of like, it always has to be exactly that way, otherwise the kid can't do it. You can't sustain that for a lot of these kids because it limits their opportunity to thrive, and it's such a burden on those that are supporting them. So kind of no one wins in that. The third thing is, like with siblings, like we've talked all about a lot, we often want to address the conflict that's occurring, but it's actually the way that you get to that is in calm and playfulness, and thinking about, well, what is the experience that these siblings are having with each other. It needs to be 95% of the time positive and playful, and that's the first step to addressing anything. It's not actually going in and saying, stop controlling your siblings, or you're not in charge of them, or don't be the parent, because that happens a lot where you do that, where you're like, hey, I'm the dad, I'm the parent. You're not in charge here. I can see you trying to help and all that stuff, which is understandable. You want to have safety around boundaries, but it teaches no skill. The skill comes from safe playing environments and learning and thinking about, hey, how do you think she's feeling? What do you think would make her happy? How do you think it would feel if, like, we want them to do the thing, not stop doing the thing? What do you think do you reckon it'd make your sister happy if we let her choose? If we let her be the one that teaches us how to do it? If we let her go first? And it's a request, not a demand, but you hope that the kid goes, I'll see what happens. And then you go, how amazing was that? Look at her lighting up. How proud is she that she got to go first, that she got to show us? That's because you helped that happen. That kind of thing. Like, that's where the sibling relationships really lift, not in coming down on them when they're failing at it.
Thank God we don't have any Griswolds in part 2, because I'm stuffing this part up.
Oh, really?
Yep.
God, I think you're amazing with
Nope.
that. You actually stitched me up, mate, because my kids want all the games that you play now.
No. 5 minutes.
Well, like, do the thing Dr. Nick does, and I'm at the playground having to, like, do that swing thing you do where you push them away and go away. It's exhausting.
All that. It's exhausting. You've got years of that to come with such small children. Well, I still want it at 8. When do you know you found the balance?
Yeah, what do you think?
I wouldn't know.
Well, mate,
No,
hark back to your days of surfing.
Well, yeah.
How do you know that you're enjoying it?
Everyone's happy.
Yeah. But
Well,
it's a positive experience,
Not
isn't
happy.
it?
Everyone is content.
And when do you know, to overuse the surfing analogy, what's a good surf? What's a good surf when you come in?
God, I can't remember. Well, I think like with anything, whatever the pursuit is, it's like you're just kind of in the moment and everything's feeling really good.
Yeah.
You feel good about yourself. And then
Is it small, easy waves?
there's enough. It can be anything. The conditions can be anything as long as you feel good.
But probably a stretch, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely a stretch.
It's a bit of a stretch and you're like far out. I didn't realise I could
do that. Yeah.
do that. I did something new. I was a bit bigger than I'm used to and I did really well.
Yeah, so a bit of stretch.
Yeah.
And you're still able to cope with that little bit of stress, I guess.
Yeah. There were bits that were a bit
I
hairy.
could do that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a bit sort of challenging. There's a bit where I was a bit worried.
If I went out now to be like, I can still stand up. It's amazing. It's so long. Yeah, I guess. But thinking about like a family, how when you've got the balance, like
yeah, so it's not
everyone's
perfect.
playing nicely.
There wasn't anything that was tough today. Everything it's a perfect day is not everyone did what they said. Everything just went to plan.
Well, no, I know. No, I can see the problem I have. No, I'm taking the piss.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see that is not a perfect day. And like you say, like it's always the best days are where you push the boat out a bit.
Yeah.
And you all come back safe
Exactly.
on the boat. Yeah.
So
That's when you're like, we can do that.
Yeah, but I don't think we think enough about like what does a good day look like, and a good day is not compliance. It's not like, and if it is, like it's often because as I speak about in clinic, I'm like, when did you last enjoy this kid? And a lot of parents are like months to years. I'm like, that's the point of it all. Like that's the point of it for us. That's the point of it for them. It's not about just smooth sailing. Like we never leave the harbour. We just want everything to be fine. Like it's understandable. I meet a lot of families that are like that in clinic.
So a successful day is really you're enjoying them and they're enjoying.
You're enjoying them and there is some uncertainty and there is things that came that you didn't think were going to happen, but you actually rode that wave and it didn't drown you. You know, you didn't get thrown off. You didn't go over the falls. You just kind of were like, whoa, that was a bit full on when that happened, but you know what? We figured it out together. That's that like zone of proximal development stuff. Like, there's a stretch you didn't think. Like think about how cool it is when your kid does something for the first time. When you're like, wow, I didn't know you could do a handstand. And you're just like, how cool is that? And it's great when they can do a handstand, but when they do something socially, when they do something emotionally like that for the first time that they regulate, like, and I'm seeing that with my kids. Like every day, my 9-month-old is like starting to really preference me, which is really beautiful. Like starting to really want me, and it's this beautiful connection piece. And I have to intentionally, like I do it. You see me do it heaps. Like my trick is I just get down on the floor, and I'm just like I'm down in their space. I'm not standing over them, and I'm just down in their space for minutes. And I'm down in their space for minutes and just seeing what happens. And sometimes, like the other day, I was like, there was a dust up between my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old, and I was able to just regulate them both together. Now, if I could have avoided that, but there's no stretch in it. I saw it coming, and I was like, no, we're going to keep pushing on this game a little bit. I could have brought in control and just stopped it and shut it down because I knew both of them were getting a bit stressed. But the beautiful thing is that was actually a successful thing that started as a dust up. But we actually came together in that moment. I was able to just hold space with them, validate both of their experiences, mainly non-verbally, and then we went back to playing really well together. And growth happened in that experience. For me personally, probably more than anyone. Like at the live show, we asked the audience, like, what's the hardest bit? Like controlling their emotions or controlling our own? And it's our own. That's the hardest bit of my parenting journey. And a lot of that comes from my unhealthy experience with chaos and control.
I've got to let it go. Right.
Yeah, but there's no point in beating yourself up about it and being like, I'm not good enough because I'm not doing this. You do it gently and you be like, where does this come from? It comes from somewhere. If you never know, it's fine. But you just think, this comes from somewhere. So there's something wrong with me or I'm a crap dad. I'm just probably not having as much fun with these kids as I should be. So I've got to peel it back a bit and be like, maybe that we don't have to be so regiment in the mornings, or maybe the evenings we just need to open up 10 minutes of playfulness. Like that's, Annalise has brought that in for us. We were always like, we've got to, everything needs to line up. We dash in. Hopefully Annalise makes dinner time. We kind of go through that. And that's where a lot of my unhealthy relationship with uncertainty comes from. So I'm just like, I don't know if Annalise will see the kids today, and then I'm really stressed about it. It's like relief when she comes in, instead of like, how good's this, your mum's here. I'm just like, thank God Annalise is going to see them today. And then it's like process. I'm straight into like bang, bang, bang. We got to do the next bit. I'm watching the clock the whole time, get him into bed in time and stuff. But then Annalise is like, let's just play a card game. Let's just do something fun. And that's like the highlight of the day. But it would be easier just to be like, I don't have that 10 minutes.
Yeah. We're giving up on, I shouldn't say this, we're just like giving up on the kids going to bed. Like we go.
I remember the funny one where you
Just
were like, we went
up.
to bed before them. Remember that time?
Did it 2 weeks ago. Not Henrietta, and we're lucky we've got grandma in the house now that stays up forever. I was just like, I'd come in and I'd be like, they're like, hey, when's mum home? I'm like, I don't know. And then, but grandma's floating around, so I'm not being negligent. But like, grandma's come to us and she's like, you guys have got to give up on this. So for context, I'm living with my mother-in-law at the moment. We're doing a reno at our joint.
And do you know a beautiful story to tell the public is that you're loving it?
Oh yeah, it's brilliant.
Like,
it's
you know
really
the
good.
trope of like, it's, you know.
No, I knew it was going to be good too. It was going to be good for us, for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? So she just sort of comes to us this week. She's like, you guys just got to give up a little bit on this. The kids going to bed and just lights out and just nodding off in 3 minutes. I'm like, yeah, what do you reckon? She's like, just put a desk in there with a bunch of crayons and just let them say, try and stay in here.
Yeah.
We're like, really? She's like, yeah, just like your kids don't seem to need sleep.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Like, because we're like last night, 10 to 10, they're still coming down while we're in the kitchen. And they're like, when are you coming to bed? And we're like, can you just go, like, we'll be up soon? Yeah. And they're like, okay. I'm like, and I'm just kind of at that point, I'm like, if they don't get to sleep, their tomorrow's ruined.
Yeah, understandable.
And then it's just all pressure. It's 10 to 10. What is it, Wednesday night?
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, you got to go to sleep. And I'll say that. You have to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, you've got school tomorrow.
Mm. But the interesting thing is, like, yeah, there's a routine aspect to the evidence around sleep hygiene, but there's also
We have an absolute routine.
When does your body feel tired? That's when you should go to bed.
I think we just get this. Yeah. So now it's just like, now we're trying to just usher them into the bedroom. The problem is, well, they're both in the same bedroom for 5 years. 5 years. Oh, 4 years.
Yeah.
And now they're in the same bedroom in separate beds, but now the beds are pushed together. They've got like these 2 beds together. And so like the play doesn't stop. There's no gap.
Oh, yeah. I remember I made the mistake. A vet convinced me once that Charlie would sleep in, and then when it's like the third time you've had to go in and settle one of them because they're both in a narrow single bed together, I was like, that's it. We are never doing this again. So any time it comes up, I'm like, no way. Because I'm just like, this is hard enough. We've got like a 90% hit rate of one of them waking up through the night at the moment. And I swear to God, they've got some secret roster where they're like, it's your turn tonight, bud. You've got to wake him up at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so it's wild. But yeah, you guys are mate, you're in heaven over there, aren't you?
Yeah, it's good.
Do you call out? Like, was it the Brady Bunch? Or you call out, good night. Good night, Donna.
It's just really good. I got to tell you, like, we got to keep moving on. But like, you know what the keys is? We got 3 adults, just divisions of labour. This is what I can't speak highly enough of. Yeah. I cook every single meal, breakfast, lunch and dinner, coffees in between, cups of tea, afternoon tea. That's my job.
Yeah.
But I haven't washed a single piece of clothing in 5 months.
Yeah.
Donna does all that. And Henry's focusing a bit on the reno.
Yeah.
So we just had divisions of labour.
Yeah. When you won't claim it, but you are quite the cook as well.
Oh yeah, I like doing it.
Mm.
I do like doing it. Oh yeah, and Henry does the put down
I didn't
routine.
even mean that you're getting out of that. No, you make beautiful food.
But it's like you just kind of have like this speciality. You just have this thing, and then but then you own not just the cooking, but you own the shopping part as well.
Yeah.
So you know what's coming in and what goes out. So like head of inventory.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see.
It's amazing.
Anyway, well, we'll see.
But that's healthy control.
Yeah. Just where your bread's buttered.
Yeah. Bang. Catchphrase?
I don't know what I'm doing. Let's keep moving. Hey, why
I
does
always feel like I'm in trouble when you say and I'm like, hey, that was you.
Let's keep moving. Hey, why does it feel like I'm tightening my grip on control as parenting continues rather than releasing it?
Yeah, so I think that comes from like you're just feeling less and less confident.
Well, you're less in
that
control.
experience, yeah.
You're overcorrecting.
Yeah, and if they're talking about like kids entering like pre-adolescence and adolescence, then often will resist that urge for kids to create more independence and explore who they are with less restraint of parents around them. And giving them the freedom for that, but still maintaining the relationship is really important. And control doesn't maintain relationships.
You eventually got to give over, don't you?
Yeah, but you give over together. You're not like, oh, well, this relationship's over. You're a teenager now. See you later. It's about, I need to be a safety net.
But what we're trying to do, saying all the stuff that you and I, because we've got the little ones at the moment, we're just trying to like build enough connection so that when you release them into the wild, adolescence, they'll come back to you when stuff's tough. Is that the idea?
Yeah, safe relationship, a sanctuary, a harbour.
Like the dad with the bag of chips that you were talking about earlier, you're just trying to build enough connection so that when you do have to give them they've got to get out there and do it, go to parties, whatever, get to and from school by themselves.
Yeah.
That they won't hide something from you, they'll actually come to you with it.
Yeah.
Is that the goal?
I hid so much from my mum. Like,
yeah.
And and I wish that I'd felt like I could tell her.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know why we do it. Maybe we were holding on because they could probably see that they had enough on their plate. I could see that they had enough on their plate.
Yeah. But there's nothing more important though, is there? You would never be like, you wouldn't want the girls to not come to you because you're like, I'm busy.
Yep. No, but if you're a 12-year-old, you're like, I don't want to burden anyone with this.
Totally, but I mean,
which is the wrong
parent
thing.
lens. Now that you're the parent,
totally,
you're like, you would hate to know that, wouldn't you? That one of the girls was having
and you
a hard
can't
time.
tell them, you can always come to me.
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
this is the premise of our whole show.
How do they learn that?
By showing them that they can always come to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not this like soft, permissive parenting.
Which is probably
it's
why...
like the consequences and boundaries
so even
come
a quarter to 10 at night on a school night, and they're like trying to come to you.
You don't have to do it perfectly.
Oh,
but
good.
This is the thing. Like often people misquote Winnicott as saying like 60% of the time. There was no percentage. It was just the majority of the time.
I focus on the recovery.
It needs to be a positive experience. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, what's their window of tolerance of chaos or control, and how is the kid actually going? And do we need to shift more in the other direction?
This is an important one. They're all important. Sorry, all of your questions are important. Does chaos as a child help build resilience as an adult?
Yeah, great question. No.
It's a great question.
No.
Does
a
it?
flat out no. There's no complexity to that.
Why no? Because surely there's something in it.
No, so think of chaos as a lack of control and dysregulation. So discomfort helps. Dysregulation doesn't. Like
right, that's
not knowing
a
what's going to
happen.
happen.
Gotcha.
Not knowing what's going to happen. Things didn't go the way you planned. Failure. All those things help build resilience.
Mm-hmm.
Chaos doesn't.
Gotcha.
I don't have resilience because of the chaos I grew up in.
Mm.
If I was really great, I would say despite it. But the chaos I grew up in all these years later has done the opposite of build resilience. It's built sensitivity and fragility around how I feel about the world, my safety in it, and the safety of the relationships. And I've had that reinforced by that stuff coming back to me. Like,
gotcha.
So that's I'm not resilient because of that. I'm fragile because of it. Like this, we've done a really bad job of explaining resilience to the public, in thinking that it's like hardship causes it. It's, yes, we should have adversity, but to a level we can tolerate for short bursts of it where someone faces it with us. Not ongoing adversity. You'll learn this on your own. Like all of this stuff. Like the Batman episodes are great because we talk about he is this broken boy that we see as a hero, but he doesn't trust anyone. He fights the world, and his only answer is violence or stoicism. He can't have any real emotional experiences. He doesn't have any honest relationships. And Bruce Wayne is his mask. He's not resilient. He's traumatized and he hasn't healed from that trauma. You know, like it's an interesting thing. Chaos does not cause resilience. It threatens it. And we need to push back against these ridiculous explanations of like, you know, I'll just throw you in the deep end. You'll figure it out.
Sink or swim.
Like, teach the kid to actually swim when they're regulated and calm and they're making that choice. Like Charlie was taking him to swimming lessons and he was just screaming and sobbing for me because I couldn't get in the pool. He's at that level now where I can't go in the pool with him. And I felt terrible. I kept taking him and then I was like, nah. And even Annalise is like, stop taking him. It's a negative experience.
We did that.
Even if he does learn to swim, that's not the way you want him to learn.
No.
You know? And so think about that with everything. It's not, like I always say, with swimming and bike riding, we can conceptualize it. We're like, don't put pressure.
So we confuse things around this. We confuse resilience. So we, chaos, bad, but stretch and a little bit of stress for short bursts.
Definitely, yeah. You have to stretch. You can't stay in it, but it's not chaos. It's unpredictability. And
you can't live in it forever. That won't make you better.
Yeah.
So get in, get out.
Yeah.
Expose. Okay, good. Hey, good.
Thank you.
You good at this?
I haven't had that in a while, actually. Thank you.
I haven't said it for a while, and it's not that I don't think it.
It's okay.
No, don't. Hey, what's the difference between predictability and control? Is control the illusion of safety? God.
It's a great question. I'll unpack it a bit.
Yeah, unpack it.
Yeah.
First part first.
What's the difference between predictability and control?
Predictability is maybe understanding ahead of time what might happen.
Yeah.
Control is just putting a ton of rigor around to make sure that thing happens despite anything else.
Bang. Great.
Sounded good, but there's probably a few holes in that argument, let's be honest. Let's unpack it.
No, it's great. Predictability is safety. Think about like the tenets, the 4 tenets. Sensitive, responsive, consistent, predictable. They're the 4 tenets that we're all aiming for.
Okay.
And repetitive interactions of sensitivity and responsiveness help you with predictability and certainty, don't they?
Yep.
So it's like, or consistency. So it's like, I consistently know how you're going to be with me. You are going to be sensitive and responsive because you have been for years and years. Yeah. So, but that's, I feel safe because of that predictability, not because I control the relationship. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Whereas someone that I don't have that experience of consistent and predictable sensitivity and responsiveness, I might use control. I might be like, no, I'm not going to trust you. I'm going to put limits on how much I talk about things. I'm going to not express myself completely emotionally. I'm not going to trust. I'm going to limit how much I actually go into depth in those relationships because I'm using control to feel safe. And control can definitely be an illusion of safety and security because actually you just limit. It's like the kid who doesn't leave the bedroom. They know how safe that world is. That's really predictable.
Yes.
No one's going to bully me. No one's going to make me. No one's going to shame me. No one's going to attack me. But that's really unhealthy, isn't it? Because they're like, I'm just going to make sure I've got control.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep.
So really sad stuff. But yes, definitely that is an illusion of safety when it's like that.
Cool. All right. Hey, Billy. The note about re-watching familiar movies as a barometer of feelings. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that. I only remembered it saying it. But how I was talking about like when I'm really stressed, I just watch a movie I've seen 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
And how that's control. That's like me going, I just need to know what's happening next. I just want to sit here and not have anything that comes out of nowhere. I just know. And that's just it's an emotional regulation tool that I use. And it sounds like lots of people do.
Yeah, it's like me using podcasts to go to sleep, but the same familiar voices.
Yeah, or you listen to the same song
Yeah.
And you find safety and security because you have that connection and consistency with it.
Yeah. And two things on that movie bit. Like I watched Grease every day as a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
The second 2/3 of it. That's all we had.
Can't we tell?
Huh?
Can't we tell?
We can tell the live shows. Make sure you get your tickets if there's any available.
There's only Newcastle's left.
Only Newcastle's left. Everything else is sold out.
Yeah. Trying to figure out Perth.
Trying to figure out Perth. Trying to figure out Perth. Perthlings, they're trying to figure it out. We know we've only got
what are the Newcastle people? Nova
Scotians.
Nova Scotians.
You're in Nova Scotia.
Yes. Well, we're trying to. It's a big theatre.
Okay. Sorry, just on that one, it's funny. Yeah, I used to listen I used to watch The Incredibles every single night when I was overseas for months on end just to put myself to sleep.
Really?
Yeah. At like this own little DVD player, I'd just like watch it and go out to God, I loved it.
Yeah, wow.
It was such a nice movie.
Yeah,
anyway,
it is a nice movie.
Surprised
I'll have to do it.
Don't know why I shared that, but here we go.
Who would you be out of The Incredibles?
God. I would be, who is it? The little inventor, Inga, and Edna. I'd be Edna.
Oh, yeah, she's great. Who's it? Is it Frozone?
Frozone. Yeah, Frozone's good.
He's really cool.
God, don't start me on that film. Have we done that?
No. I would have said you have to be the kid because of how fast I run.
Dash. I'm not fast. You're Dash. I'd be Vi. I like Vi too. I like Edna. She's great. I couldn't possibly, darlings. Okay. Dramatic like that. Hey, Billy. Can you role play some of the great one-liners from Point Break? All right.
You're way better than me.
I know every line from it.
Yeah. Have you got a favourite?
Can I cue you up for one, actually?
Well, probably not on the
Can
spot.
you, if I go this one, I think you should be able to get it. I've got to put on my best American Australian
Tell me the
accent.
line you want me to give because I won't know it. So
If I say
you
no,
do both lines and then we'll do it.
You might. Okay, I'll give you a crack. No pressure. Sorry.
No pressure on a podcast. We never cut anything out.
Get him when he comes back in. Do you know that one?
And then
Get him when he comes back in.
he's not coming back in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
know. Okay, let's try this one, which you haven't heard.
I'll do it in Keanu's.
We'll get him when he comes back in.
He's not coming back. I'm trying to do the robotic.
You got any other
deep voice
favourite
of
one-liners
Keanu.
from it?
I'm always a fan of Back Off War Child. Seriously. Back off War Child. Seriously. Yeah. That's why I should have been Bodhi.
Oh, the audience doesn't agree. But it's okay.
What do they know?
So many good one-liners in it.
Yeah.
Busey has some crackers. Utah, give me two. Everyone knows that one. Everyone knows that one. You nearly go to the bar. Mate goes to the bar. Like, Utah. Two. Give me a drink, mate.
This is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always want to as well.
Oh, it's so good. It's 10:30 in the morning. Okay, don't.
I'm going to be sad that we've done it, actually.
I know. It's kind of like, it's like using Parenthood early on.
Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
who knew we'd be here?
Oh, yeah. Who knew? Anyway,
You did.
Are we finally... No.
No, a couple more, and then we're going to
let's
get
burn
going.
through 'em. Yeah.
Okay, quick fire.
Yeah, quick fire.
30 seconds to 60 seconds. How do I find the balance between chaos and pushing boundaries versus keeping them on side?
Yeah, I think that was with teens.
Kind of.
Is there something about teens in
Oh,
it?
sorry. Yep, I missed a word.
That's okay.
How do I find the balance between teen chaos and pushing boundaries versus keeping them on side?
So my 30...
Keeping them on side's connection. Go.
Bang. Yeah, finish that
I
that
answered
train.
it. No, I answered it. Don't worry. You could skip it now. No. Go.
No, I agree with you. Like, it's about connection in the relationships, especially with teens. You got to do that before anything. And it's got to be like, most of the time we interact with each other, it's me just actually enjoying being with you. Because they'll push back against pressure and boundaries, and like that's what they're fighting. So just don't give them most of the time. There's no fight. There's no battle. We're doing the same thing. We're facing the same direction. I just love being around you and I love enjoying you. And that's it. That's the long-term successful way to keep our teens safe.
Okay. Hey, Billy, how long does it take for the nervous system to recover?
Great question. That's unfair to give you that one.
Well, I can tell you it took about 2 days after our first live show. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't talk.
speak,
I couldn't talk on the Sunday. We performed on the No, I couldn't talk on the Saturday. We performed on the Friday. I couldn't talk on Saturday.
Yeah. You do give it your all. People who come will not be surprised.
Yeah.
It is quite impressive. I almost feel like I become the audience in some parts of that show. I'm just standing there watching.
People think they're coming to watch a live podcast. And maybe some people wish all they were watching was a live podcast, but I take a good opportunity of a stage, let me tell you.
There was a funny joke in there about locking the doors.
None of you are leaving. It's a think piece. You'll think, why did I? No. How long does it take?
It's nothing to do with time, it's to do with experience. So time doesn't heal our nervous system. The positive experiences that rewire our brain do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So think about like a really bad breakup or something. It's not time. It's like feeling secure in yourself again, feeling like you deserve to be loved, feeling like you're okay in the world, and having people who show you they care about you, that it's not conditional, you know, that they're interested in you and they want to be a part of your world. It's those experiences, not the time. Time heals nothing. Time teaches us nothing. It's a really important thing for us to remember. Time will not help kids with anything. You need the time for those experiences to happen, but time alone does nothing for us. I often talk about like I can have a violin in my house for 10 years, but if no one shows me how to play it, I will be no better in 10 years' time.
Good analogy.
Yeah, someone needs to be like you need, not to learn how to play a violin. You need to learn to live in the world where control isn't ruling your life. And you need experiences that are safe, where you have positive outcomes because of that risk that you take and being more flexible. That's what we all need.
That's a really
positive experiences, not time.
No, you could. I have had a set of harmonicas for 15 years, and I have not played them in 14 years and 11 months.
Wow.
I have not gotten better.
Sydney.
Oh, live show. You guys are going to sit through something.
I could see you with the headpiece.
Yep.
Yeah, and what is it? There's like one foot that's got a
like a kazoo. Just wait. No, can I start again? No, wait. Start.
The problem is, even when they're nailing it, it's not harmonious. The one-man band. But if anyone could do it, it'd be you. I'll be on the jingle jangle of the old triangle. that's about my limit of my. I could probably nail a gong. I reckon I'd be great on a gong.
Gong in red. We haven't done the castle, have we?
No. We have a international audience, Dr. Nick.
But I think it did well. Yeah. We did 2 hands. Did we do 2?
Are you doing another podcast?
Sorry, no, we've done some Heath. Just easy.
Yeah.
Done some Heath. And we talk about Heath a lot.
Yeah.
That's
10,
why.
10 things.
10 things. We did something else with Heath. Batman, yeah.
Well, I need to do Breakback. Jake.
Never seen it.
Who, if you could have a beer, obviously he's not around anymore, but Heath or Jake? I'm a big fan of Jake.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Heath.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you said that thing, he's a social
referent.
Mm. Yep. God, just... Yeah. Hey, longs for where
there's only 5.
So there is.
I'll be tight on the answers, I promise.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
I need to steel myself.
Yep.
It's not my fault completely. You've also been.
Sorry for contributing. I'll pair it there.
Didn't realise I was meant to just ask the question.
Do you want us to pre-record them and you can hit play?
Mate, we all know your answers are better than mine.
I feel like a newsreader because now I've had some feedback that paper might make me read a bit easier, and it's fair. But I feel like a newsreader. Breaking news.
All right.
First long question.
Give it to me.
Hi Nick and Billy, thank you for everything you do. Among other things, your recent visit to Adelaide I was lucky enough to see you at the live show and meet you both afterwards. Thank you for being so generous with your time. I was one of the last in line. And for being so compassionate when I cried all over you as I told you about my beautiful boy. He's 9 years old and recently been identified as being autistic and having ADHD. He also has debilitating anxiety and struggles with so many things. In an attempt to control his anxiety and all the other things that go on inside his brilliant mind, he's become super good at controlling his world so as to limit uncertainty, change, overwhelm, etc., etc. So much so that getting him out of the house to leave on weekends and in the holidays to do something fun is near impossible. To be completely honest though, given how well I know he doesn't cope with change, transitions and new environments along with his own anxiety, I feel so much more comfortable staying at home when I can control the environment for him. My question is, how do I help my son to let go of control when I find it so hard to do myself? Thanks again for giving me hope in times when I think there is none, understanding when I can't get my head around how to support him, and laugh when I think it's physically impossible. I don't know where I would be without you both.
Yeah, we don't know where we'd be without you.
No,
Because
exactly.
one of the best bits about the live show is getting to meet everyone.
Oh, the best bit. The best bit of the live show.
One of the guys was at the talk last night, actually.
Oh,
in
yeah?
the merch. Yeah, so shout out to everyone who supports it with the merch because 100% profits go back to GGM and the work we do in the community. But yeah, he's actually a black belt in BJJ. Yeah, lovely human. He's got a little bub coming in 2 weeks.
Wow.
He asked what belt you were, and I was like, magenta. You're purple, aren't you?
Yes, I'm a purple belt.
Yeah, he was very impressed. He wanted to know.
Beat me up.
But yeah, lovely human. So we love meeting people. Love meeting people. But yeah, it is an interesting thing, isn't it, about like starting with ourselves with a lot of this stuff. I think we can look at our kids and be like, oh, they need to change. But actually, like, we know the power of role modeling. It's one of the biggest influences that happen to our kids in terms of their development and mental health is what do we role model. This is the thing that stresses me out the most about my parenting, if I'm being 100% honest, that I'm like I talk about with relationships, I'll just control, I'll stay safe by never stretching. I'll just be predictable, be safe, not kind of put myself out there emotionally and socially. But the actual thing I worry about, like my therapist is like, Billy, you deserve to be loved and have good relationships. And I'm like,
Yes.
I'm sweet. But the thing I actually worry about is the role modeling I'm doing for my kids, about like they're seeing me kind of not take that risk and not feel that safe. And so like this person's identified before their child can feel safe outside of certainty and control, they need to work on it because of the influence. And I said this last night in the talk, one of the hardest things about clinic is that often parents are like, I'll be fine when my kid is. And in 26 years, I've never seen it work like that. I've never seen the kid gets better first. It's always the parent doing their own healing and thinking about how can they look after themselves, how can they address that underlying need for control first.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a really important part of it that this beautiful human has identified about how can I do this when I can't do it myself.
Okay. Yep.
What were you going to say?
No, I'll save the question for another day.
Well, I mean, hopefully another day comes, but you just might
yes.
forget the question.
I've got 300. Well, what do you... So, we're not raising our kids in a perfect environment. What do you worry? So you were like, you're not modelling something for them. So we're trying not to... I'm so lost on how I'm going to ask this. What do you worry your kids are going to be thinking about when they're our age, about what they're going to be addressing?
In terms of because of me?
Because of you,
yeah. So my
like you just said, I'm worried they're not going to see me take risks. But I'm like, are they going to see that?
Yeah, they will see that and they'll feel that. And they'll
Really?
feel like, yeah, well, think about like, so you were a really great.
So I'm not the same as you. I don't take risks either. I don't take risks.
My kids don't see me with you anymore, for example.
Right. Yes.
And so they just see me like doing all this and being passionate about it. And hopefully I need to work on like showing them how much I love their mum more, like including physical intimacy and stuff. Like I don't do that. And what I'm doing is they're all three of them are forming a blueprint of what a healthy relationship is based on what they see. Not what I tell them.
Right, okay.
So there's how I am with other people. I want them to see me like being affectionate to my friends that I love as well. Showing, moments of intimacy and affection to everyone, obviously mainly their mum, but also just self-kindness to myself. They don't see a lot of that. I just don't open up that box. So they obviously don't see my thoughts, but they see my behaviour. And they see like, superficial interactions that I have, but they don't see me being vulnerable.
Yeah, okay. I
with
see it
people.
now. I see what you're saying.
And so they're like, that's what relationships are like. You sort out stuff on your own, for example.
Gotcha.
If you're stressed, you don't talk to people about it. You just fix it on your own.
Okay.
You know, and I don't want my kids to do that.
No.
I've got this beautiful 2-year-old son
Yeah.
that just wants to be kissed and cuddled when he's struggling.
He's gorgeous, yep.
Yeah, and so I adore that about him, and I'm so worried that I can give that to him, but I'm not role modeling it to him.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's what
Yeah.
But they'll pick up. Yeah, cool, gotcha. Cool.
So that is, if I'm being 100% honest, that is my only motivator that gets me anywhere near thinking about working on it.
They'll say it.
Yeah, I just...
Or they'll see an absence of it, or they won't say it.
I don't have a motivator that is like, my life will be better if I do that more, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Because I'm like, control will keep me safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it won't... Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
We've covered. Okay, thanks. Well, I'm learning a lot this episode. I'm not taking the Nick, but because we've just done all that, now I can take it into these questions and understand. Okay.
Which is good because it's been a while.
Heineken and Billy. I first heard Billy when he featured on the All in the Mind, Bad Behaviour or Just Misunderstood. Must have been a podcast.
Yeah. I think it was the year that came out. It was the 8th most shared podcast episode in the country.
I remember that.
Wow, how cool is that?
It took me a few months to jump across to PCP, and I did so right when the 3-part neurodiversity eps landed, and from then I went back to episode 1 and have listened to every episode. Without being dramatic, you lifted me out of my lowest point in my life, and you saved my marriage, transformed my parenting, and helped me, and by forced Instagram reel watching, my husband better parent and neurodivergent bundles of joy and chaos and control. My gratitude to you both and your wives for supporting you to do this is deep, and I hope I get to tell you in person when I come to Brisbane. When you come to Brisbane. Brisbane's all sold out?
Yeah.
Okay. My question for you both is around neurodivergence and chaos and control. I am currently, slowly, reading Dan Siegel and Tina Payne's book, Whole Brain Child. And when I read the part on chaos and control and flexibility, it stopped me in my reading tracks. Prior to landing on your podcast, I was neck deep in control and thought if I could just control our family life more, the middle stream of flexibility would bubble up. Okay. Of course, that didn't happen and instead led me to my own lowest point. My biggest adjustment since listening to you both has been in expectation versus capacity, and I have done my best to support expectations by controlling what will affect capacity. You can see where this is going. Billy Nick. My fear in my neurodivergent family, 6-year-old diagnosed ADHD, ASD, level 2, 8-year-old diagnosed inattentive ADHD and anxiety, and 40-year-old husband with ADHD, anxiety, and trauma, pending 5-year-old daughter and pending me, is when the control is loosened, is when the control is loosened, absolute chaos reigns and apocalyptic levels of breakdowns ensue. But when control enters the scene, a state of reasonable calm and enjoyment unfolds. And let's be real, my version of calm is most people's version of chaos. I know I have an unhealthy relationship with control. I have a terrible eating disorder in high school, which hasn't completely left, and I know my control has been fueled by anxiety and is still somewhat fueled by that. But overall, my control has matured into an attempt to give my husband, my kids, and myself happy family experiences where we have the pillars of love, celebration, connection, and autonomy shining through in a highly supportive environment. And to improve mine and my husband's experience of life and parenthood. When I hit rock bottom, it was scary because I had never reached that point before, and now I'm trying to take on what you are teaching me and applying it more broadly to my life and my adult relationships to have a more positive experience to life. Do I need to loosen the reins of this control? For example, I now worry about removing obstacles to support my 8-year-old's capacity and reduce his anxiety. When you mentioned low, slow exposure, which I think we do, to chaos, I wondered whether I need to invite this stretch more and more. Or is it okay to teach the skill of healthy risk mitigating to our kid and how that can support them to live a more functional life in a neurotypical world? Thanks for reading this and for all your hard work you both do to put on the podcast. I am so indebted to you both for how much you have personally transformed my subsequently my children and our family. You're both making a big difference to our lives and many individuals and families and the community. You should both feel really proud.
Beautiful.
Should I loosen the controls?
It's a great question, and it's also made me shout out the number one parenting book, which is The Whole Brain Child. That's like my favourite parenting book. Obviously know both of them, and they're both amazing, Tina and Dan, but people should check it out. So they have this beautiful way that they explain, like we've spoken about Dan and the river, like one bank is chaos and the other's control, and how do we find the middle path? The beautiful thing that Tina does is introduces this idea in the middle ground of flexibility. And one way to think about the difference between chaos and control is chaos is dysregulation. The way that we want to address chaos is to find calm. And that's how we come back to flexibility. Control is not feeling safe. And so we have to address safety first. So control is not dysregulation, it's rigidity. It's like, I will not feel safe if there's any uncertainty here because it's risk. It's different to chaos. Chaos is like, I've lost any sense of what's going on. I no longer have the reins, the horse is bolting, and I'm just holding on. I don't have any capacity to think about steering this horse. I don't have any capacity about pulling it up. I don't have any capacity to take in the landscape around me. I've lost any sense of control, whereas control is the opposite. Control is, I want to micromanage every single thing in the world because if I don't, I'll feel unsafe. So does that make sense? One, you are not calm, but you are active and you are aware and you are regulated, but you are over-controlling everything. And flexibility is the answer. Flexibility is like, how can I be okay, but I'm choosing it. I'm not choosing dysregulation. I'm not going to chaos. I'm still aware and I'm making active choices, but those choices are being a bit more flexible about my world. And it's a beautiful way in that book that Dan and Tina explain it. So thinking about, if we have too much chaos, I need to help with calm. If we have too much control, I need to address the underlying need for safety first. And then, which I think this parent is actually doing, to be fair, introduce a stretch. But try not to reinforce it by building skills in reinforcing control, in risk mitigation. Think about, hey, we're going to climb the tree. Let's learn how to climb at safety. Not, let's never climb a tree because we might fall. Now, what we're talking about is social and emotional risk-taking, not physical risk-taking of climbing a tree or getting on the playground. You're thinking about, hey, let's check out maybe not the birthday party, but why don't we think about inviting one of the kids that you feel the safest with to our house because you feel safe here just for an hour, and they have to choose it. You're not like, it's happening, because then that's too much towards chaos for them and dysregulation will come. But thinking about, where is this in our world? And what you want to try and have is a protected sanctuary with every kid that thinks about, this is how we stretch a little bit. It's got a goal at the end of it that you want. You really love showing people your Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
This is a really great part about you. Who do you think would be the person that would enjoy that the most in your class? And it might just be, let's bring them to school in the car and we'll just see if they want to come over and look at them for 5 minutes. That's the stretch. And you just bring them over and you tee up the other parents, say, hey, this is not going to sound like much to you, but this is a really big deal for us. We've been working on it for a week, and Billy's picked Tommy as the person that he just wants to show the Pokemon cards to. Do you reckon it'd be sweet if we just queue it up, make it look like it's spontaneous? I'm going to come over holding his hand and be like, hey, Tommy, do you want to come and look at Billy's Pokemon cards? And then that's the stretch. Now, there's uncertainty in it, and it might fail. It might be Tommy's not in the mood that day. he's had a tough day, sorry, and mum's like pulling a face going, I'm sorry. But then you sit down and you help Billy when he hits that chaos and becomes dysregulated, and you help him find calm. And then you have that experience with him and you validate and all that stuff. But those are the stretches that I'm talking about. There's too many kids out there that are stuck, completely stuck, in complete control, and they can't explore the world safely because they don't feel safe. And that's what that talks about.
Okay. Yep. Great answer. Hi, Dr. Billy and Dr. Nick. Just listened to episode 128 and loved it. Also, one of my all-time favourite movies. Short 2-part question. How can I help my anxious autistic teen with his increasing OCD behaviours, and how can I tell if a repetitive behaviour of his, like pacing, continual door, lock checking, staying indoors, making repetitive sounds, is helpful regulation, healthy, functional, good, or if it is increasing his OCD and needs to be addressed, unhealthy, dysfunctional, bad? Thanks for all you do. You're both awesome. From a worried mum trying to walk the line between chaos, control and calm.
Beautiful question. So did you see this thing? How cool is this? China have introduced a new thing that people can't go on social media and talk about health, law, finance unless they're qualified in it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's so funny. Most of the comments were from like accountants being, thank God, I'm so sick of like people sending me a TikTok clip and being like, you should be getting me more back on tax. Because I would have thought it'd be like all these health people being like, but it drives me wild because OCD is a great example of it. The influencers are on there going like, I just need to be so organised, so I've got OCD. Like everything needs to be in its perfect place.
Yep.
And it's actually quite patronising and destructive to people that actually have the 1 to 3% of people that have clinical OCD in the population. That is really minimising and belittling what their experience is, because it is absolutely debilitating. It's not like I need to have a clean desk. It is it doesn't have to be both. I obsess about the thing, so I can't stop thinking about germs, or I'm compulsive. I have to wash my hands 10 times a day. Now the difference, and there's a lot of overlap, kids with autism are more likely to have OCD than the general population. The interesting thing is with OCD, how you differentiate a repetitive behaviour in OCD versus a repetitive behaviour of autism is that it is a negative experience that continues in OCD, and if you stop the behaviour, they feel relief. It is a positive experience in autism, and if you stop the behaviour, they feel discomfort and dysregulation. So the person who, for example, wants to flick a button over and over again, if they're stressing about it, it impacts their functioning. They can't do anything else. They can't stop thinking about it. And if you can, in a healthy way, take them to something else and they seem calmer and more regulated, that is more likely to be an obsessive compulsion. If they seem comfortable and it's comforting them and they went to it from anxiety and it's helped them find calm and they're doing it over and over again because it's a sensory preference they have, and you take them away from it and they dysregulate, that's a repetitive behaviour that's soothing within autism. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Now, the answer, in a very quick soundbite, to OCD, all of the evidence in OCD sits in therapy, mainly in CBT, and addressing that. So psychoeducation, symptom control, cognitive restructuring. How do we move away from these repetitive behaviours in a healthy way? How do we move away from obsessing about these certain things? And also there's a role for medication. So we see lots of kids who have what's called refractory responses to treatment, so the therapy doesn't work, and SSRIs are the main ones. There's another so I'll save some of the other evidence around like certain forms of exercise and things like that around OCD. But it's a really important thing because it is quite a debilitating condition. Like OCD is kind of up there with some of the worst mental illnesses. We changed it to separate it out from anxiety in 2013 because it was often oversimplified into it's just another form of anxiety. But it's quite different, OCD.
Okay.
And you don't have to have both. And the other important thing is it has to impact functioning, and generally we talk about at least for an hour a day. So just an important point because I don't reckon we've specifically said that about OCD in 4 or something years. So it's just important. That's the actual science of OCD, something that's very misinterpreted in media.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I'm going to have to go back and listen to that run through.
Yeah, sorry.
It was a good run through. No, but I just haven't.
But it's an important distinction because we often get asked, how do I tell if this is OCD or if this is a repetitive behaviour of autism? And that's how you tell.
Okay. Hi, PCP legends. Firstly, thank you for your efforts and vulnerability to put on stage for us last night. It was amazing and very much appreciated. I wanted to ask a question, but unfortunately our 3 kids, 9, 7 and 4, were wanting us home immediately. I've listened to the pod over the past 18 months after it was shared with me, and I'm up to episode 71, which is very apt for last night's show. I've used a lot of the techniques with my own children as well as in my work. I apologise in advance for the long. Quick bit of background about me. I have the privilege of being a police negotiator who has worked in the role for many years. In this role, I speak with people in all forms of situations, from barricading because they don't want to be arrested, hostage situations, protest liaison, and mental health crisis. Unfortunately, the growing role for us across demographics is suicide intervention. Last night at our live show, you struck a chord with me when you were talking about the work you do in clinic with kids that have been given up on by everyone else except yourself. Also, on the fact all these children involved in youth crime are lost kids, missing connection. I agree, despite what governments say, we cannot arrest our way out of a social issue. Great line. Unfortunately, my role is getting greater exposure to suicidal children 12 to 16, disproportionately were female at birth. When we were involved, they are in an acute crisis. They are in an acute crisis, usually on the edge of a bridge cliff or armed with a weapon intending to do or already self-harmed. They feel nothing is worth living for, and they feel like they have no one that cares. Most of the friendships are with similar-minded children who don't provide a stable connection. Most, if not all, these children are involved with child protection with diagnosis of APD, BPD, CPSD, or a combination of all.
Yeah, just trauma and
Sure.
antisocial personality disorder, like lots of different things.
Sure. We respond in twos, but we work a rotating roster, so it is unlikely to be the same negotiators who attend each time. We try to build trust and connection in the short time we have to be able to get them to see hope in their future, but our tactics are becoming less effective. This is due to so many things, but most commonly, it is their perceived lack of care and help they receive when they go to hospital, as they get turned away and labelled as behavioural attention seeking. It feels like we are a band-aid and the adhesive we use is losing its stick. It is not a case of if we lose one of them, it is a case of when. We've recently found there are multiple youths who are part of a suicide pact aged 12 to 16. I would not be able to get past the feeling I could have done more if I didn't look for any other advice we could use to connect with these children. What I wanted to ask you is, you mentioned play as a way to get through to kids you have in clinic. In our situations, we usually don't have the ability to get close with proximity due to risk to them, and we only have a very short time with them, so everything feels on fast forward with someone who distrusts the system that we represent. We always try to find common ground and build connection, as well as focusing on the future won't always feel like this. The way they feel and thoughts they are having is not how it should be. A time they felt happy, or at a minimum didn't feel this way. Hobbies and interests. Their strength as being a teenager is hard enough without the trauma they have been through. Are there any techniques or advice you could be adopting to assist in building connection? I have a friend who attended a workshop in Sydney as a developmental educator who can't stop raving about it. It made me think there would be massive benefit from having negotiators from across the country learning how to better connect with youths, not only in these circumstances, but also as a offenders in crisis. Is there something you would be able to assist with, or are you able to recommend someone who could? If it is, I will raise it with my management and seek approval. Thanks again for everything you do and the time you give.
Mm. It's heavy, isn't it?
Really heavy.
You love that line.
I love that line. Yeah, you can't arrest your way out of a social issue.
Mm.
Yeah, I read it before. I said to you, God, what a line.
You want to make it worse, that's how to do it. The reoffending rate in 12 months is 85%. So that's how much that answer works. Yeah, beautiful. I shouldn't forget about that workshop as well. I wish you'd been at that one. 7 hours of me talking. No slides. So you know what I did? I just group of 50 people and I was like, what do you want to get out of this? And we just wrote everything on the whiteboard and we just crossed them all off over 7 hours. Charlotte Keating came in for a bit too. I felt guilty about how much that cost. It would have helped us run the impact series, but we're looking at whether we do that again. So it was great. I'd love to work with those people. I don't know if I ever told you, when I first started dating Annalise, I was working on the psych ward, the paediatric psych ward, and I used to get called through the night to come in and do suicidal risk assessments in the emergency department about whether kids needed to be admitted for safety to the psych ward or whether they could safely go back home. Do you know that? Sleep.
I can't even picture the situation. Physically what that looks like. I don't even know what it all looks like.
Yeah, do you know what I look back on? I wish that I'd realised more, because this is over a decade ago. I wish that I'd realised more what a privilege it was. Because I actually, and it's funny, I cut my teeth on that stuff in outside of school hours childcare with traumatised kids that were dysregulated. And it's mental health first aid. That's the answer. Mental health first aid is before you can use playfulness to connect with them, you have to use mental health first aid to regulate them. And some really simple tricks about it, like stealing a line off my North Star of parenting. I don't know how you survived, but you're one brave kid, Rebecca.
Oh, Ripley.
It's, that's how you do it. So I don't know, you don't deserve this. I don't know how you're handling it, but you're one brave kid. And a couple of other tricks is mirror their body position, how they're sitting, and face the same direction as them. That's what I used to do. I used to sit next to these kids, and you worry about safety, but and it's an easy thing for me to say being trained in it, but these kids are often not out to harm someone else. Their violence is all directed internally. They want to hurt themselves. And so thinking about how can I try and regulate myself and show that I can hold this space with you and I feel safe because I've been here before. I've had the privilege of looking after kids that are dysregulated and thinking about how do I try and be compassionate to you and say, this is awful, you don't deserve this, I'm sorry this is happening. And not then going, so open the door, so do this, so do that, but just holding that space with them. And I'm quite whenever I'm in those situations, which is much rarer than when I was on the psych ward or doing that other work, I'm quite honest and being hey, my job is to try and help. My job is to help you, not to help anyone else. I want to help you. I work really hard about this. I choose to do this. It can be really hard sometimes, but it's so rewarding because if I can help you make things better, there's it's amazing. And so I want to sit and hold this space. I'm not going anywhere. You tell me what I can do to help. And often they won't say anything or they'll escalate, and because they're testing and being do you actually mean that? Or if I escalate it, you're going to then go away, or boundaries will come up, or you'll use punishments, or you'll threaten me. So you have to earn that in those spaces, but I think you can do it. It's much harder if you don't know the kid, you don't have a safe relationship already established. But how do we build bonds like that stuff? By facing in the same direction as kids and calling out and saying, this is not fair, you don't deserve this. You're being so brave. I don't know how you've got to here. My job is to help you, not anyone else, not the school, not the police, not anyone. My job is to be here for you, and I'm here for you, and hold that space with them then. And I've got this because I've been here lots before. And just thinking about how do we create emotional safety in those moments. And it's the same way, the same way we do it for the toddler is the same way we do it for the suicidal teen. It's just about, I'm sorry, you don't deserve this, I'm here.
Yep.
and then bringing in playfulness, and then bringing in connections, and then bringing in like trying to find what does this kid care about? What does this kid spend his time doing? What's this kid's story? Where did they grow up? What matters to them?
And then after that, playfulness,
Yeah.
if it presents.
Yeah, let me guess, school was really shitty. School was shitty for me too, the whole time. I got kicked out. Hated it. Hated every minute of it. I grew up in a household that was chaotic. I was exposed to violence, getting in fights a lot. My skateboarding injury helps me a lot in those moments. Yeah, 2 bones in my wrists popped out. That's how fast I was going, They don't believe me. I showed them the scar. I got to playfulness, storytelling, narratives, connections, being vulnerable and honest. I don't agree, and I train, people in this stuff about like, you should be completely separate. You should just be professional. I should be the doctor. I should be the police negotiator. You're a human. The way you'll connect with them is being a human. Too much of us no, that's how, So we should be the authority. We need to be the powerful presence. It's like, no, be a person. Be vulnerable, be a human, do it genuinely, not performatively. Kids can smell a rash, especially teenagers. If you're just putting it on, they won't believe you, and if you're just being an authority, they won't trust you. So that's what I would do. But an amazing one to come through. There's 2 more.
Last question.
Last question, sorry.
Last question, then reflections
and
advice.
For these reflections.
Nah, you haven't let me read them, have you?
No. The first one is very heavy. The last one is beautiful.
Am I reading the first one? No. Okay. Last question. Hi, Billy and Nick. Firstly, thanks for the podcast and the book.
I love it when you sign it.
Oh, it's so much fun in the live show.
The funny thing is, what you found the first time I mentioned you, and you're like, he doesn't mention me till page.
The last page of the book.
I can't believe that. Mate, you should be.
I'm like, anyway, it's for the people.
I'll tell you what,
my
my third book will be a love letter to Nick. We like Marley and me, Nick and I.
I haven't seen Marley and me, Nick and I. What would be in there? Yeah, flick
I had
book.
to get it out there before your tell-all. Life off the mics. And the record button wasn't red.
Okay, Billy. Last question. Hi, Billy and Nick. Firstly, thanks for the podcast and the book. You've been an enormous help as I tried to fast-track my parenting skills when I suddenly became a full-time bonus parent to a 5-year-old girl 4 years ago, and helped me navigate the very different challenges of our now toddler boy. The idea of chaos and control has been a theme through most of my life. I grew up with OCD that presented around 7 but wasn't diagnosed until I was 20. To continue the Dan Siegel metaphor, I spent about 25 years living on the chaos bank, constantly fighting the current, my obsessive fears, to get to the control bank via compulsions. But when you pay attention to OCD's thoughts, it always drags you back with an ever stronger pull. My mind was often an unbearable place to live. I received CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, and medication. But it wasn't I took up running and yoga.
Yoga.
But it wasn't. I took up running. Sorry.
It wasn't until, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, it might have been. I should have caught that.
But it wasn't until I took up running and yoga, hot yoga initially, 10 years later, that I learned what it meant to let go of those thoughts. I couldn't physically keep going and engage in OCD thoughts at the same time. It took that skill of mindfulness and meditation over time, and I learned to sit with my anxiety, and my symptoms eased. My OCD almost completely disappeared, though it would always lurk, and the experience left me much stronger mentally. I developed the skills to go with the flow of the river between the banks. I could effectively deal not only with my OCD and anxiety, but many stressful situations in life better than many other people. My kids are a blessing and provide so much meaning and fun in my life. Being a parent has also brought a new type of chaos, and I now struggle to manage. Both my wife and daughter struggle with anxiety of their own and regulating emotions. They have both had hard time with our toddlers' high energy, big feelings, some challenging behaviours. Stress and anxiety in the house are often high. I carry a lot of the load with regulating the kids, and our son now has a preference for me when he's having a hard time. I feel guilt about taking much time. I feel guilt about taking too much time for myself if it means putting stress on others. I mostly work from home, and I don't get away to seeing family and friends much. I feel like I've lost control of the space in my life that I used to have to manage my mental well-being. I try hard to carefully plan for me time that will cause minimal stress to others, and when things don't go to plan, I get easily frustrated and resentful. I also struggle with the fact that I haven't been able to pass on the skills I've learnt to my wife, and particularly my daughter, in whom I see much of my worried younger self. I wonder whether I need to let go and accept some of the chaos at home and better model self-care, or let go of some of the aspects or ideas about what I need so that I'm more accepting of the demand at home. It is very, very hard, but your episode has helped me reframe the challenge and piece it with skills I've already learned in life. And I know it will pass. The need to control sometimes comes from feeling like current challenges will last forever. Every day reminds us they don't. And even just writing this out has helped me process some things. Looking forward to the next part of the discussion. They need to let go a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think they need to do less self-care.
Yeah.
Like, just never the answer.
No?
No. I've never been like, that parent's doing too much self-care. Like, do you know what I mean? That's never the answer. It's like, yeah. And even if like you've got a partner who's like seemingly selfish, then it's about how, like, why is that happening? Why are we so misaligned that this person's going off and seeing their mates all the time or hitting the gym all the time and I'm parenting solo? So thinking about why is that? Have you done much hot yoga?
Not hot yoga. Used to do yoga.
I've done heaps of hot yoga.
I should go back to it, I think.
Oh, it's amazing.
Good for your head.
Great. And there's some evidence for high-intensity aerobic exercise being beneficial for OCD, like some early emerging evidence for that. So that's why I thought that was pretty cool. I've done a fair bit of it. I used to love taking mates to it for the first time. I remember one mate, we walked out there and he's like, it's like being in the mosh pit of a band, but the band never comes. That's such a good line. But I think, yeah, it's not about relinquishing control. It's also like not about, we want to help, but it's very hard to give someone else that skill set. They have to like really learn it themselves. You want to provide an environment that's really supportive for someone else to feel safe, to learn skill sets to relinquish control by feeling safer, remembering that's what you do about someone who's over-controlling is that there's a need, there's a lack of safety or a lack of feeling safe in this environment because of what we call an intolerance of uncertainty. There's a whole body of work around this, especially in neurodivergent kids, an intolerance of uncertainty because they feel unsafe in that environment. And thinking about not only how do we understand that and validate it and work on the safety aspect, we also need to introduce safe, gradual extensions into uncertainty.
Okay.
And thinking about what does that look like in tiny ways. And some tiny ways, like we talked about the kid and the, showing the Pokemon cards, but like we're going to go to the park, but you'll figure out which one when we get there. And they might be really stressed about that a little bit and be like, no, I need to know. But if you can hold them from that complete chaotic dysregulation and just say, well, let's see, how about you tell me the first time you spot it? Let's see, if you're looking out, can you figure out?
We going to?
Let's see how soon you can figure out which one we're going to. That's a really safe, there's a goal orientation at the end of it. You're able to give them the active 100% support while you're exploring that uncertainty. So you have to bring it in. You can't just be like, you don't feel safe, so let's control everything.
Yeah.
And those kids that have that real significant intolerance of uncertainty, you have to introduce it gently because otherwise they just stay stuck. And thinking about, and the evidence is strong in that space of like validate, understand, be curious, but then move towards gentle extensions of uncertainty where you can provide the emotional support. And the thing is, we don't like lawnmower parent or whatever by removing all obstacles. but we navigate obstacles with them. We provide as much emotional support as the kid needs to succeed through that obstacle, but the kid still needs to learn to navigate the obstacle. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And that's the beautiful thing about that story, is that like he has this lived experience that's like helpful for me to hear, hopefully other listeners, about battling OCD and how like the obsessions needed control and they reigned his life and dominated it and had a negative impact on it, and he's moved through this process through evidence-based strategies. But then he's got this compassion for everyone else in his life and thinking about, and toddlers bring chaos because their emotional dysregulation is so easy, and it's also contagious, especially when we love and care for them. Because we catch it, we feel frustrated by it, and we feel guilty about it afterwards. And I have my own experience with this also before we get to the reflections, where my day is so chaotic that I need the control. And I'll be rushing and I can't find my helmet, for example, because the kids have been playing with it. And it just causes me so much stress. And I just lose it. I completely ridiculously get overwhelmed by not being able to find my helmet. Because it'll take me 3 minutes. And I'm like, far out, this is going to stuff up the whole day now. It's going to be late to the first thing, and then that'll put me in this... Yeah, and all that stuff. And I know where a lot of it comes from. I've had like so much, uncertainty that then has ended up in the bad thing happening, that I'm like, I fear uncertainty now, and so that impacts my relationship with Annalise, my relationship with my kids, where even small bits of losing control can trigger that sensation in my body of like, you're starting to be unsafe now. And I have to gently, and I work on it with the helmet. I don't work on it with the big stuff.
Yep.
And what I do is I catch it in myself, I validate it, and I try and take a beat to regulate it.
Yeah.
And I'm just now getting to the point where I'm like, it's actually okay.
How good.
Yeah. But that's like, but my point of that story is the tiny bits.
Yeah.
The small bits, not the huge things about like taking a risk emotionally. That's not the helmet.
Yep.
There's hundreds of helmets before I get to that point.
Yep.
Cool.
Longs.
Let's do them.
I'm just going to... Do you want the paper?
No.
Sure.
Thank you, though.
I'm just going to go... A tissue. It sounds like it's going to be rough.
Grab a tissue. You grab a tissue, and then I will... so the reflections and advice, there's one reflection, and then thank you, mate, for getting me a tissue as well. The reflections... Yeah, this is a heavy one that is trying to validate the experience that a lot of people have. You've got a snappy bit of advice that's really important. And then I've got a beautiful one to end it on.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay. Hi, Nick and Billy. The topic of chaos and control really resonated with my life, as did the discussion around surviving. This is my reflection. I'm almost 14 years deep into parenting, and I'm still in survival mode. I've never come out of it. My life is a constant flip-flop between chaos and control, and there seems to be no way out of this. I'd love to share a story of how my morning went today. I'm currently holed up in my bedroom, checked out from my family while I write this. This story is not out of the unusual for us. My response of shutting down is also not unusual. Let me introduce you to my family. My partner and I have been together a lifetime. I have a complex mental health issues and an autistic brain. We have 3 children. Our eldest child is 13 and is twice exceptional, gifted and autistic. A spectacular and incredible human who is kind and caring and wonderful sibling. Life has not always been easy for them, but they're really settled at the moment. We do face speed bumps, but this is our easy one. On to our middle child, the 10-year-old. This kid is hard work. They're autistic with an ADHD brain. They're incredibly smart, an unbelievable musician, but has zero self-confidence and is a perfectionist. They regularly hyper-focus on Nintendo games, and that's all they talk about. There is a persistent demand for autonomy and is exceptionally oppositional. My relationship with this child is completely broken down. We can't be together for 5 minutes without arguing or them feeling like I'm putting impossible demands on them. Wash your hands before eating, capping screen time despite pre-agreement and regular reminders. Change your underwear. I've checked out. Last, we have a firecracker 6-year-old. This kid and I have slept together every night of their life. They continue to have pretty difficult periods of separation anxiety. They also sit with a borderline PFD, pediatric feeding disorder, and ARFID, avoidant restrictive food intake disorder diagnosis. But this is not yet fully clear. This has existed pretty much from the moment we started solids. We've tried all the therapies and now are being removed from early intervention NDIS because we don't have a qualifying diagnosis. I'm starting to see glimpses of the 10-year-old's behaviour in this one, and I'm feeling really sad. This morning we've planned to all do parkrun together. We'd spoken about this the day before, offered suitable variations of participation, not completing the whole course, walking or riding bikes. 6-year-old woke up and remembering our plans, declared they would not be going. 10-year-old woke up and refused to communicate with me, promptly putting on their noise-cancelling headphones and scowling at me. Cue heated, stressed discussions with the partner, both telling the other to go and run with the 13-year-old so at least one parent gets some exercise. I decided I wouldn't go because I can't run to save myself. I declared that the 6 and 10-year-old would have to come and do grocery shopping with me instead. They both refused. 10-year-old told me that I always ruin his life. I stepped away and declared defeat. 6-year-old was feeling guilt and while sobbing reminded me that I regularly tell him that you're the boss of your body and you do what's good for you, so why couldn't they decide for themselves to not participate? Surprisingly, everyone got dressed and we headed off. I could sense the storm brewing. 13-year-old ran well, almost a PB. Partner ran, walked with the 10-year-old who cracked it and refused to complete the course. I ran, walked with the 6-year-old who refused to ride the bike or cut the course short and essentially complained the whole time. Once we crossed the line, the 10-year-old refused to talk to anyone, but not before telling me you hate me, and the 6-year-old sat on a rock and cried. This is my life. It's either pure chaos and pain or control and pain. We have no family support and have spent years desperately seeking help from healthcare providers. Our schools are great, but outside support costs money we don't have. There is no joy anymore. Our neurodivergent household demands control and prediction, but the control doesn't fit everyone's needs. This throws us into chaos and yelling. There is no growth. Nothing good comes from this place. There seems to be no capacity for anyone in the family to achieve stretching and growing while we're constantly bogged down in survival mode. I'm not sure if you'll read out my letter, but Billy, you always say you read every letter. So maybe I'll have a moment of calm knowing that you heard me. I love listening to both of you fabulous people. Thanks for everything you do.
That's pretty tough.
Yeah, I hear that person and see them. I'm sure you do too. And yeah, we need to figure out how to support each other better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really tough. It sounds relentless and not a lot of great moments of, it just sounds tough.
Yeah, it sounds awful. I couldn't survive that and now that person's surviving. And it just motivates me to do more and demand more from all the services. Like, there's enough money out there. That's not the problem. We just need to expect more and expect it to go in the right places that actually help. And we need to expect more of each other to collectively support each other better. And that's why I'll try and do anything that I can do in a small way to help that happen more. Anyway, it's just really important. I think a really important part of PCP is, saying that there are people out there where it's not getting better and they need more help than they're getting.
Yep.
And just how amazing they are that they can hold that much.
So much.
You have a small
I have
one that's just really specifically important, and then I have one that's emotional, but has some hope as well.
Okay. Heineken Billy. Sorry, I haven't read this one, obviously. That's why I'm just checking the link. I'm like, okay, what I got to read? Okay, I'm going to concentrate. Heineken Billy. I'm a dad to a 15-month-old pro-social firecracker of a daughter. Just wanted to share my experience as a new dad and having to find balance between chaos and control. During my daughter's first few months, I really struggled as I had no control over her sleep and struggled myself with sleepless nights. Soon this became my full-blown sleep anxiety, putting so much pressure on myself to sleep that it had the opposite effect. As the anxiety peaked, things felt completely out of control. The maternal child health nurse was a saviour, connecting me with an excellent psychologist. Meditation, psychoeducation, CBT, and the support of my beautiful wife helped me recover. I now have a new set of skills around insomnia and anxiety to let me be more flexible and embrace a little of the chaos. Just wanted to share in case other dads are going through something similar, because postpartum depression anxiety affects 1 in 10 dads, and I wanted to normalise the experience and highlight how asking for help can make a difference. Thanks for all the work you guys do.
So it was great.
Oh, I'm going to have to see someone, yes. I got up at 3 a.m. yesterday. Awake. Sorry,
Yeah,
not about me, but
I'm in that too. And I need to,
I just sort of sit there and go, I'm awake.
Yeah. Even Annalise was like, do you reckon you got time this trip to see your therapist? I was like, oh, yeah.
I got to speak to someone to do something. That's given me good impetus. Well done.
Yeah. But yeah, and the maternal child health nurses are amazing.
Yep.
Okay, last one.
Go.
Boys, again, honestly, I don't even know how to put into words the impact and importance of you both. I have a 5-year-old, the most precious, intelligent, loving little person. And in just 5 short years, they've been through more than most. They were removed from their biological parents for a number of reasons. Before coming to live with us, they were the full-time carer of their family. At 2 years old. What? At 2, they learned control. They needed to know exits, people, environments. Hypervigilance became their normal. Survival kicked in far too early. It's heartbreaking. When they came to us, we brought in supports. And I remember being asked as the adult, what do you want them to get out of this? And my answer was always the same. I want them to be a kid. I want them to get messy. I want them to be silly. I don't want them to be responsible for anyone but their own joy. And here I was, 35 years old, asking professionals to help my child let go while not knowing how to do it myself. I've always said I'm like a shark. If I stop swimming, I'll sink. At first, we clashed because neither of us could handle the unknown, and every single day was unknown. Were they going back? Would there be contact? What would happen after? So much was out of my control, and that was terrifying. I used to be so free. My oldest is 14 now, and I don't remember every clean plate or routine we followed. But we both remember the fun, the moments where control didn't matter. 2 years later, we have a little person who is no longer living in survival mode. And me, I'm no longer a shark. In our house, we say things like, everyone makes mistakes and that's okay. No one knows everything and we're learning every day. I'm a grown-up and I still learn new things. And my favourite, doesn't matter. Because really, does it matter if bathers are on backwards and princess shoes go to daycare? Does it matter if they're covered in mud? Does it matter if dessert comes before dinner? Or does it matter that they feel safe enough to just be a child? We changed our language. We stopped saying things like, you're a big kid, or you have to help. Instead, we gave reassurance. We reminded them, you're safe, we've got it. And slowly, we both let go. But like you, Billy, I float between. And honestly, the ocean has always been my happy place. It's the only time the noise stops. The only time that I listen, the list in my head disappears. Somewhere along the way, I forgot how to float. You boys brought it back. And because of that, these kids won't just have a childhood defined by what they went through. A loved one defined by what they felt. Freedom, safety, joy, a childhood. And maybe that's the thing. And maybe that's the thing, not always knowing what's ahead is where the magic actually lives. Oof.
A ripper. A great note.
Great note. Like, God, those two were like, I've been thinking about them since I read them.
Yep.
Yeah, what an amazing community PCP is. What a privilege to be a part of it. I read every single thing that comes through. The worst bit about the pod is the 99% of things that can't be read out, but I see everyone who sends it in. I hear all of you. I feel all of you. Guide me, empower me, help me keep going with it. So
Great
thank you to
North
everyone that
Stars
takes
there.
the time to send it in. Yeah, great North Stars. So thanks, mate. A long one. I haven't even checked the time, but
Hey, yeah, great one. Loved it. And it's obviously, again, we keep going about the questions make the whole thing. So second part, privileged to read all that stuff out. Yes, but I did, switching gears, you got a clue for the next one?
oh yeah. Yeah, what's a good clue? You reckon you've gone?
I don't even know.
I don't know you know the movie.
Yes. I know the movies. All right, maybe we leave it at that. Well,
I'll give a clue. I'll give a vague clue. Well, you'll probably say it's not vague, and I've already said it. I can't even remember if this is the exact line.
go for it. If it's a line, someone will get it. Go.
Somehow, he came back.
Okay.
Someone will get that.
Okay. Someone. Yeah,
An amazing actor says it,
Okay. Brilliant.
and talks about how he found it quite hard to say.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Right. I'll have to think about that.
yeah. The Die Hard fans all.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I'm a pretty
So
big
yeah,
fan.
we'll throw once again. Is the book a prize? What? Is the book a prize?
Oh, yeah.
We'll send a book. And someone's like, I know the answer. I'm not really after the book though. So
Someone said
it's like
yeah.
how we force the photos on people when we do the show. Sometimes we're a little too quick. Like, you want a photo?
Okay,
Well,
yeah,
not
you've
really,
got a
but-
camera there like, no, mate. Oh, hey, you want a hug? Oh, not a hugger. I was like, fair enough, sorry. I'm excited.
Yeah, so we get a little bit too excited. We love hugging in photos, but also respect when people aren't after us to do
Absolutely, just tell us.
things. So, yeah,
The default is hug.
beautiful.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the episode. We'll be back soon with the next one. Don't know what it is yet.
Thanks, man.
Hey, don't let your mother smell that beer on your breath. She'll take it out on me.
I don't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. And I don't want to see anybody else either.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Just use your best judgment. We trust you.